Hi, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. Welcome to another Facebook Live paper crafting class. I'm so excited to share this certain card with you. I'm a math person. I love to figure out how to make things work with math. And so there was a card design that I had in my head, but I couldn't quite do it unless I played around with scraps of paper. So my goal was to show off two pieces of designer paper on a card at the same time and have it fold up, hi Janet, and have it fold up and fit into a regular or a medium size envelope. So I wanted it to fold up to the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch size. Hi Dawn, hi Eileen, hi guys, I'm so excited. We have lots of people coming on. Hey Kathy. So this is what I came up with. I'm gonna show you the card. But again, it's so exciting for me. This is one of my favorites. In fact, my team of demonstrators did this card last week, a version of it, and now I get to share it with you guys. So let me put you in the stand. All right. Hey, Kendra's with us, and Mackenzie. Oh, thank you for sharing. You guys know how this goes. So yeah, let me pull the card out, and then I'll explain to you how the prizes work, because Eileen knows. All right, this is the card. It folds to a typical 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 size, but yet it opens up and shows off two pieces of our beautiful designer paper, because Stampin' Up! Certainly has a lot of that. And you could really apply this card fold to lots of different designer papers. So I can't wait to share it. But we have to do the stamping parts first. So we're going to do that. I am going to share measurements with you. But let's go ahead and let's see here. I want to make sure that I've... Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to tell you about the ways that you can get prizes. And a lot of you already know that because you have come live with me before. So you either want to comment like you're doing now, like Donna just did, like Julie just did. And if you share like Julie just did, then you want to mention that you shared the video so that I know that that was something that you did. So isn't this beautiful paper? This is our Sweet Soiree paper. And this is the card that was in the invite. So I think this is the one you saw, and we're going to do this version so you can see two different versions using that same designer paper. Isn't it fun? Yay! Hey Cindy, thanks Livy. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to go ahead and start actually by cutting. I know normally I give you measurements, but I want you to really focus in on the cutting, and then I'm going to give you the measurements. You can take a screenshot of it, and then we'll go over all the supplies that you need, okay? So here we go. We're going to cut our 8 1/2 by 11. So this is regular 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock. This is Rich Razzleberry. And I'm going to cut it in half at 4 1/4 because this width here is 8 1/2 inches. So we're going to slice that at 4 1/4. And now we have half a sheet of cardstock. And this is the size that it opens up to when it's fully open, okay? Now we got to put the score lines in there. You want to put the score lines in at 2 3/4 inches. So you're going to look up here at the top and go to the 2 3/4 inch mark and use your scoring blade. That's the light one on the Stampin' Trimmer. It is sparkly, isn't it, Kendra? And thank you, Kathy. And then we're going to move it to the 4 1/4 inch mark. Okay, and we're going to score there. And now we're going to open up the arm of our paper trimmer, because yes, it can keep on going. And we're going to move that to 7 1/4 inches. So now we're way over here on the arm, and we're doing the scoring blade at 7 1/4, and the last fold is at 8 1/2 inches. Okay, now that I've done that in front of you, and those of you that are new to stamping see how easy it is to make a card base, now I'm going to share with you the measurements, and I want you guys to take a screenshot, or you can come back to my blog later on. Someone asked me how you do screenshots. It really depends on the device that you're using. A portable device is different than a computer, that sort of thing. So you really have to just Google it or search that up, figure out how to do that. But here's the set of measurements. Go ahead and screenshot that. Maybe I need to, I'm not sure if you guys see the comments like I do, so I'm going to scoot that over just a tad so you can do that. And then in a few days, I post this project and the written measurements all typed up in my blog post with photos, so you can see, you can come back to it in a few days and come and see it again, okay? So now that you've got all of those measurements, let's look at those pieces again. Here is the Rich Raspberry cardstock, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at the 2 3/4, 4 1/4, 7 1/4, and 8 1/2 mark. We also have Whisper White cardstock. We need to have a piece that is 4 by 2 1/4 inches, and this is going to go on our bottom layer of our card. That's going to be where our sentiment is. Then we also need a piece that's also 4 inches wide, but this is 1 1/4 inches tall instead. Then we need a scrap, and I chose a pretty big scrap because I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you could approach making the tag portion on this. So there's 2 different ways to do that, but I'm just going to grab a scrap that's pretty large. And then you need your Sweet Soiree designer paper, or whatever designer paper you want to use. So if you're going to use something like the Myths and Magic, then maybe you want a different color for the cardstock base, but you want to have 4 by 4 pieces of your designer paper. All right, and then we need some ribbon. We're going to use the Pear Pizzazz shimmer ribbon, and we're going to use the silver baker's twine, and I have about 6 inches of each. And then we have also 2 pieces of silver metallic foiled doilies. And these are cut into thirds, so you can get 3 cards from 1 doily. I have the large doily and the small one. All right, so those were the measurements, again, shown to you. And now we're going to talk about the supplies that you need. So if you want to recreate this card, you're going to need the stamp set called Half Full. And this one was featured in the holiday catalog, but it carried over. That means that we can still have this available for purchase. So if you love it, you can still get it. We're also going to use this wonderful tag, I think it's called a tag topper punch. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me. If I call something wrong, let me know. But the tag topper punch, that coordinates really well with this image. And then we need this tool. This is optional, but this is called a Stamp-A-Ma-Jig, and it's great for doing a single card and positioning a stamp image. So we're going to use the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. It's a tool that's been around forever. I love it. I think the or the Stamparatus, which is coming out soon, is one that you could also use, but I think if you're just making 1 card, this is sufficient. And then you need, let's see, what else did I not mention yet? Adhesives. You need snail adhesive, and you need dimensionals. Thanks, you guys. You know, every comment that you make, or every share and mentioning that you share that you post in there is helping out, getting you an entry into the prize drawing at the end. Yay! Hey, Grandy. Then you also need a bone folder. Oh, this is my personalized one. Yay! You need a bone folder. And then the inks that we need are Memento Tuxedo Black, along with some of our blends markers. These are our alcohol-based blends markers. We have the Rich Raspberry color and the Old Olive color. I also brought the color lifter in case I make a boo-boo. That's great for correcting mistakes. And last but not least, we need the cutting tools. So of course, you've already seen the trimmer. The trimmer is necessary on this one. And then you need some scissors. I have my ribbon cutting scissors, and yay! And then I also have a long-handled paper cutting scissors. Now we sell the snips. We don't sell a long-handled one, but I think for I'm going to show you 2 different options for making that tag. And for one of the options, a long-handled scissors seems to work best. Hey Jody, I haven't seen you in a while. How are ya? All right, so here we go. We have this tag shape that we want to get with our stamp. So let's grab our stamp, which is already mounted onto a clear block, because I have the clear mount style of stamps. And again, this is the set we're using. It comes in wood mount or clear mount. And we're going to ink it up in the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Memento is the choice of ink that you need if you are going to use alcohol-based markers like our blends markers. Okay, so we've inked that all up. We're going to stamp this down. Now this is the version that uses the long-handled scissors. So we've stamped it down, and now we bring in our scissors, and you're going to trim really close to that outside edge on both sides. And the long-handled scissors just makes it easier to make a nice straight cut. All right, and then you can trim along the bottom, and you can trim close to the top. And I say close to the top because you really want to get it close enough without cutting into it so that you can see it when you put it in the punch. So if you've trimmed it right, it should fit in there. It's a 2-inch wide, or it's a tag that should fit in the 2-inch wide little punch here. But if you have to trim it down even more, go ahead and do that until it's really close. I have about a 1/16 of an inch showing on each side. And so now we're going to flip it over. We're going to turn it upside down and have this part at the very top as we shove it in. We're going to turn our punch over, and now you can see just a hint of that design up there. Do you see just a hint of that black coming through? Okay, so now we're going to pull it down and a little bit beyond down so that you don't see the black and you know it's gone down just a little bit more. I'm going to do that again. So here's the black. Maybe I'll bring it up a little bit more. Here's the black, bring it down, and then a little bit beyond down. Now as we punch it, we should get, hey, a perfect little cut all the way around. Here's another way that you can do that. You can already punch out this shape. To get that shape, you're going to grab your paper trimmer and you're going to cut a 2-inch wide piece of Whisper White cardstock. You're going to place it in your punch before you do any stamping. So we've shoved it all the way in there and we're going to punch it, and now it's ready to stamp on. So we're going to use our Stamp-A-Ma-Jig for this part now, okay? So to use a Stamp-A-Ma-Jig, it's basically like a little T tool. I forget what they call those things. Has T in the name. So you're going to take your Stamp-A-Ma-Jig and put the plastic that comes with it right up into the groove. If you're right-handed, you put it on this side. If you're left-handed, I think you put it on that side. I don't know. I'll have to ask my son. He's a left-handed kid. Okay, now you're going to take your stamp and ink it up. And we're first going to stamp on the plastic. Okay, that's the stuff that came with the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. Okay, we have there we go. We have the plastic and the purple part there, and these are all one thing. In fact, I think the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig is now black. This is a really old one. T-ruler, T-square. Yes, you guys, thank you. Oh, I love you. See, this is why live videos are awesome, because when I don't know something, you guys help me out. So we've stamped it, and we've placed this right into the corner so that as we move it down, it's lined up and it's ready to go. So now I've got that positioned on there. Now what I want to do is I want to position this on top of my paper. Okay, so I'm going to position it there. But one of the problems we have is our paper is much smaller. So we're just going to put a little dab of snail adhesive there, not even much, just a little tiny amount so that our paper won't move on us. And then we'll lay this on here. We'll bring this over and line it up again. So now when I position my stamp, it's going to go in that exact same spot. Okay, so we move this away. We ink this up. I personally hope that they do not get rid of the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. I know that the Stamparatus is a cool, awesome tool, but I really, really still rely on this for just once in a blue moon needing to stamp something. It's great for putting letters in the right places. And there we go. So now our image is set up, and then you just bring in that long-handled scissors or the paper snips and you cut it. So we can choose either one of those. They both look great. Yay! Okay, the next thing that we're going to stamp are the glasses of wine, and we want to do that across our skinny piece here. So we're going to stamp those there. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment. Make sure I have it going the right way. May your glass always be half full, I think is what it says. Which is cute, but we're going to change that to say always full. May your glass always be full. And now we can go ahead and do some coloring. These are the blends markers. This is the bullet tip. This is the brush end tip. With a smaller area, oh, and my hands are shaking. With a smaller area, ooh, and I wanted to do dark on this side. You'll want to choose your bullet tip because you can definitely get outside the lines with tinier little areas like that. So now forgive me if I don't see any comments come through as I'm coloring. It's because I'm really focused on making sure I don't go outside the lines. Okay. Oh, I do see your comment, Cheryl. How do you clean it? Well, it depends on what kind of ink you're using. If you're using the regular classic ink pads, you can just clean it off with water, like a wet paper towel. If you're like the Memento ink, that will clean off with a wet paper towel. If you're using like the basic black ink pad, which is our archival ink, then you'll want to use like some Stampin' Mist cleaner, which we have in the online store in the catalog too. And that just helps to clean off more permanent inks. But yeah, and every once in a while I go in and I use like Windex or a glass cleaner, or you know, you can put it in your dishwater and clean it off that way. I would not put it in your dishwasher, but definitely you can wash it with soap and water. So this one glass has a little bit of darkness on the side that I didn't want it to have darkness on, but that is basic blending. I'm going to show you one more time with this one here. And the grapes are so much fun. You guys are going to love this. This is easy. So you get the bullet tip again, and you just go in and dot a little bit of dark color at the bottom of each of these cute little bubbles. Each of these cute little grapes. They're fun to color. But they do not take as long because, watch this trick. This is so cool. So after you do all of that, then you come in with the brush tip. I better cap this so I don't stick my hand in it. You come in with the brush tip and you just color over the whole thing. So you don't even have to worry about the lines, you know? So it's pretty fast to color the grapes. We're going to do the leaves too. I hope that you're okay with watching me color. Some people have not colored with blends before. Blends markers basically are great for creating very beautiful colored in bold images because the ink blends into itself. The dark color and the light color, when you mix them together, will have this gradual dark to light look. It's so pretty. Let me show it to you a little bit, like in a bigger section here. So here is a scrap of just Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to color some dark here. This is the dark rich raspberry. You can purchase these colors in groups, combo packs they're called. And then this is the light rich raspberry. And when you come together, where the colors are coming together, you can actually saturate the cardstock and you can get a very blended look. See, now it looks very gradual. You can hardly see that line that is in there. The more you saturate with the ink, the more blended it looks. It's beautiful. Okay, that was a quick lesson. I do have another video on my YouTube channel of how to color with blends that is a little more detailed. Gives lots more explanation. So if you need Stampin' Blends 101, you can check that out. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Eileen. All right, so now we're just dabbing our light color on there. Normally I do light, and then I come in with a little dark, and then I do light again. But for quickness, I just wanted to make sure that we had the coloring done on there right away. So I just dabbed in with dark color and then colored with the light. So now we have our pieces colored and ready, and now we can assemble. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, so the first thing we'll assemble is the tag part. So we're going to take and bring our 6 inches of Pear Pizzazz shimmer ribbon through there. We'll take our twine and we'll wrap it around. And I just hold on to the ribbon here and the tag here, and then I tie a knot. And sometimes you need a friend to help out. You know, sometimes this extra finger doesn't work as well. So if you need a friend, rope somebody in your family into helping you hold that. And then you just take and tie it again so you have a knot, and then use a ribbon scissors, trim off any excess that you don't want. You can even make your tags shorter. I think angle cuts are very attractive, so that's what I like to do on mine. And now to put this together, oh, you guys, this is gonna be so much fun. So you have all these score lines in here. This section is wider than this section. You want to start with the section that's not as wide. That is the bottom part of your card. and this is how you fold it. Okay, so this is the bottom section, then fold this one over on top of it, and then this one over on top of that. And this will fold to a 5.5 by 4 1/4 size, okay? All right, now we get to add everything, and you have to do it in order, backwards order. So we're first gonna add the sentiment piece on the bottom, and you just wanna center that between the score lines and the outside edges of the card. Remember, by the way, you guys, if you are commenting, you are getting entered into the drawing. So make sure, if you're one of the I can see 40 people are live with us right now. If you're one of those 40 people, make sure that you're commenting so you get in on the prize drawing. Then you want to tape right across here, and here, and here, and here. And I know that seems like a lot of tape, but it's really not. And it'll really hold your designer paper well. I think I want to flip it this way. So then what you do is you hold this down, and you want to center between this score line and these outside edges, but also make sure that you're covering up the white. So that's the next layer. If you start from top to bottom, then you have a harder time lining everything up. Now this can be put on top of that, but we want to make sure that when this gets covered up, it's not going to show through. And you can see, I hope you can see, that when this gets on top here, we have this edge. It's like a perfect square piece right here. We have it layered up like a perfect square piece. So this little corner, I think you can kind of see that, it has to be above that corner. So as I'm looking at this card, I want to make sure that I'm getting above that corner with this piece so it gets covered. So add that to the card. The paper is to die for, isn't it, Libby? Yes. So then we just lay that right here. The sad thing about designer paper, and I should mention this to all of you because some of you may not be demonstrators, you may not know this, designer paper tends to retire after a year. So this paper is probably, I'm just saying probably or more than likely, going to leave us at the end of May. It's in the occasions catalog. So if you really love this paper or any of our designer papers, you want to make sure that you grab up your stock of them before they disappear. Okay, now we're going to add this piece on top. So we'll put lots of snail on that. And then we're going to line this up with just the top edges. Oops, don't put it down yet. Just the top edges, there's no bottom edge here, but we also have to look at making sure that it's lined up with the edges of our designer paper here. So when we lay it down, you're not shifted. Do you know what I mean? This would be shifted. So you want to make sure that it's lined up on all of those sections. And now we've covered up our wine glasses. We have our words that are going to appear when we open it. And the last thing is just to add this fun little guy here. Oh wait, we have two more things. Sorry. Let's put dimensionals on here. We have 3 more things. We have to add 2 doilies and we have to add this tag. And I probably should have put the little doily piece on here before I put the dimensionals on, but it just comes to a little point. So I'm just going to add a little snail right in here. Yeah, the dimensionals are yelling at me. They're telling me I should have done this before or after this doily got added. Okay, so that doily just gets added right there. Okay, and now we can put this on top of here, like so. And then this piece gets placed underneath. And again, this probably should have been done before we added it to the card, but it's a small piece, so it's not gonna have to be inserted too high. And that just gets placed right like that. I have more versions of this card to show you. I'm so glad that you guys like this card and that you're sharing it. Thank you for sharing the video. Remember, every share and every comment and every time you tell me that you share, it gets entered into the prize drawing that we do at the end, and that's coming up real soon here. So hang on, because I want to show you some other cute cards that we did. This is the card style that we did in my team event. So last week I sent make and take supplies to a lot of people on my team, people who RSVP'd, and they got one of 3 different versions. So this is using the Myths and Magic designer paper. This is also in the occasions catalog with a coordinating stamp set, super cute images. And so that's one card. And here is another card using that same little guide, but this time I changed up where the ribbon was, changed up where I put the paper, and I even changed up the coloring. So we have totally different looks on them. Here is the Mermaid version. So you can see it has just a little hint of that fun little design here. And then when you open it up, there she is. And here is another Mermaid version. So on this one, I used some celebration ribbon, and that is going away even sooner than May. If you are familiar with our promotion that's going on right now, celebration is an awesome time to purchase. If you're a customer or you're a soon-to-be customer, you want some of these supplies, you'll want to make sure that every $50 that you order, you know that you can pick out a freebie, and they are in the celebration section of the online store. So that is part of a ribbon pack that is free. Really fun stuff. I love the ribbon. I think it's one of my top 3 favorites of the celebration choices. Here's another version. I just kind of put him off center. So there's my little wizard guy. He's wearing all black because instead of using blends to color him in completely, just like this mermaid here, I just used the Stampin' Write marker to color in the black areas for her hair and for his outfit, because we don't have a black Stampin' Blends. And on this one, this might confuse you, but it's the same folds, and I just changed where the paper folded, and it still folds to a 5.5 by 4.25 version. Fun, huh? Can you believe it? It's the same exact folds. It's just changing where they're going. All right, I'm going to unclip you here. Hang on just a second. Oh, I have to get better at that. All right, so if you are not a demonstrator and you don't have a demonstrator, you can shop by clicking the shop link in my Facebook page. You can also go to my website, which I think I had on display pretty much the whole time. It's stampyourartout.com. You can go there. There's a shop button on that page too, and check out what Stampin' Up! Has to offer. Visit my blog. In about 2 or 3 days, usually is when I post this Facebook Live video along with the written measurements again and close-up photos of all of the things that I shared. Let's see if there's anything else I want to tell you. Oh, I want to tell you about my pin, because you guys will cheer for me. I got a pin just recently. Can you see it? That's from Stampin' Up! It's commemorating. It's not commemorating. It's basically saying, hooray, Rachel achieved a sales goal. So anyways, I wanted to show that off because it's super pretty and it's shiny. So, all right, now we want to draw for the prizes. And for the prizes this time, we have an extra version of this set because I bought 2, thinking I didn't buy it yet. So I have another stamp set to give away. And I have a full roll of that Pear Pizzazz shimmer ribbon along with one of the card samples. So whoever gets the ribbon, which is the less expensive prize, they get the card. So both prizes are pretty cool. So now we're going to go to our computer program. So I'm going to get my computer ready here. If you have to depart, because it looks like a few of you are leaving, if you have to leave, then just know that at 2 o'clock next week is when I broadcast again. I always broadcast at 2 o'clock Central Time, so I hope you come back to visit. I do not have the next card or project or whatever it is I'm going to show you yet, but you'll want to come back. All right, let's flip the camera around and let's see. We have had 126 comments. This is awesome. So now we're going to, we click on pick a winner and we click that green button. Let's see whose name comes up. Kendra. Kendra, you're a winner. You get to pick first of if you want the stamp set or if you want the ribbon with the card. And let's do another winner here. Let's see who our second winner is. June Ferguson. So Kendra Ahmed and June Ferguson, you are the 2 winners today. Let's congratulate those guys. Flip the camera back around and thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Remember to stamp your art out. Bye-bye.